he wouldn't be God. Exactly. So, from a definition point of view, it doesn't make sense. It's like saying, I have a friend called Mark. He's in hospital right now. And he just had twins. What are the gender of the twins? No, tell me.
You just said what?
Tell me the gender. So, we just guess. A girl and a boy. Can Mark have a girl and a boy? Why? Mark is he's a man. Okay? So the point is, it doesn't make sense. How can a man have children? Similarly, how can God be created when God, by definition, is the one who is uncaused, uncreated? He's the first in which there is no beginning. And he's the last in which there is no end. However, what we could also say is, okay, let's take that into consideration. What caused the cause that caused the universe? This is what they're exactly saying, right? Well, we could just say, well, why do we stop there? Let's question what caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the universe. Let's carry on. What caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the universe? Let's carry on again. What caused the cause that 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 caused the universe? Let's carry on. What caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the cause? And I'll be rapping soon, right? If that's the case, we'll have an ad infinitum regress of causes, which means a forever chain of causes. If we have that, we won't have the universe in the first place. So the question itself denies the very existence of the universe. Let me give you an example. Say I want to shoot the brother with the Superman t-shirt, right? With a water pistol. Yeah? Say I want to shoot. In order for me to do that, I have to ask permission for the guy behind me. Can you shoot the guy with the Superman t-shirt? No, because I have to ask permission too. You ask me permission? No, I have to ask permission too. If that goes on forever, am I ever going to spray him with the gun? Exactly. The same thing with this question itself. It denies the whole existence of the universe in the first place. Has everyone understood this? Good. 3. Must be immaterial. Why must this cause be immaterial? Which means not made of anything that we know of, that exists in the universe. Yes? Good. All things material perish. Very good. All things material perish. Not only that, all things that are material don't self-create. That's a very important point. And this is in line with the second theory of thermodynamics. Who knows this theory? Yes?
I don't know. I've heard it. I knew it.
Okay, energy cannot be created or destroyed. Exactly. So if that's the case, if energy was created, then it can't be energy itself. So it can't be part of the material world. So it has to be immaterial because it created the material world. Number 4, you must have a will. The reason it's very important to discuss this is because if you just have these 3, it doesn't really make it necessary that this cause can interact with the universe or have a relationship with living beings. So we have to show that it has some kind of, it's a personal agency or it has a will. The reason I don't use the word personal, because it's very human-like. In the Islamic tradition, we don't follow an anthropomorphic. Yeah, we don't follow an anthropomorphic view on the conception of God. We say he could never be man. This is why we fundamentally disagree with the Christian tradition. When some Christian traditions, they say that God became a man. And this is problematic for us, because we say, if Hamza becomes a cat, I'm a cat. I'm not Hamza anymore, yeah? And is that logically, that's what it is, that's the case. So how can God be an unlimited, powerful being and a limited, unpowerful being at the same time? It's like saying, catch this, draw me a square triangle. If you do it, I will give you $5 million. Draw me a square triangle. Draw me a pig goat. Draw me a mother father. I said father. Okay, it's the jet lag kicking in. So draw me a mother father. You can't do that because they're logically incompatible. The statements become meaningless. The statements become meaningless. This is why we fundamentally disagree with the conception of the Trinity, because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, if there's any Christians in the room that could explain this better or clarify it for us, if my interpretation is totally skewed, okay? Just in case. Don't want to offend anybody, okay? Since we're living in, well, I'm here in America until Sunday. I'm going to go back home safe. Okay, so, where were we? We're saying he has a will. The reason this cause must have a will, because if it's uncaused and therefore eternal, and it brought into existence the universe that had a beginning in time, that's finite, then what does that mean? It means it must have chosen the universe to come into existence. And what does choice mean? It means you have a will. And if you have a will, it means you could have a relationship with other beings. Does that make sense for everybody? So we can conclude, brothers and sisters, it's the first argument, that not only is there a cause for the universe, we have good reasons to believe this, but when we use conceptual analysis or we think about this cause, we come to some striking conclusions which are in line with the basic definition of God in the Quran. Who knows what the basic definition of God in the Quran is? I'll give you a guess. It's a very short chapter. Please, give it to me. One ahead. Good. Say, God is one, unique, the absolute, the eternal, the self-subsisting. He begets not, nor was he begotten, and there is nothing like unto him. So we're saying he's one, eternal, uncaused, nothing like unto him, material. He is God, therefore he can have a relationship with the universe. So this profound chapter is the conclusion of pondering on the universe. It is no wonder the Quran says, وَكَذَلِكَ نُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And thus do we explain our signs and evidences in detail for those who reflect. So we have a very strong case against the atheist narrative. Because, I don't know if you heard of the Richard Dawkins of the world, the Sam Harris, the Christopher Hitchens. Christopher Hitchens, he wrote a book, God is Not Great. He even dedicated a chapter for the Quran. Very outdated, Orientalist cut and paste job, yeah? But the point is, this is the narrative. We have these neo-atheists, these militant atheists coming out, and they got guns blazing. Not only, they got guns on both shoulders, all those helicopter guns. Army commando style, I'm telling you. And this is why we need to empower ourselves with very strong but simple arguments. We use some big words, but essentially, it's a very simple argument. When we ponder the universe, whatever begins to exist always has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore it logically follows it has a cause. When we think about this cause, it must be one, uncaused, immaterial, and have a will. Basic definition of God in the Quran. There you go. Yes?
When you were talking about Trinity, you mentioned the word anthropomorphic.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean by that word? Can you elaborate?
Anthropomorphic means that we render the conception of God in human terms. So we say, for example, this unlimited eternal being can...
Conception or perception?
Conception, perception, that's what I mean. I conflate the terms, okay? We say that it can have some kind of human attributes, like a form, shape, size. It can go to the toilet. Yeah? These are quite problematic in Islamic theology. And this is what we mean by anthropomorphism. Or we limit God's powers in a materialistic sense, an anthropomorphic sense. Anthropos coming from the Greek word human being. Is that satisfactory?
So, do you, when you were talking about the Trinity, were you trying to refer to the idea being anthropomorphic?
A part of the Trinity, a certain conception of the Trinity, because there are differences of opinion in the Christian tradition. One of them is that you have the Son, you have the Holy Spirit, and you have God. And all of them are God. So the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, and God is God. But also they part together as well. The major problem, not only due to its logical inconsistencies in terms of 3 in 1, 1 in 3, but the major problem for the Muslim is that the Son is God. That's the problem, and that God actually has a Son. So there's two issues there. The major issue, if you pick out the two, is that God can become a human being. That is highly problematic. Not only from a theological sense, in terms of looking at things from a divine unity perspective, but also from a perspective that you're saying the unlimited, all-powerful being becomes a limited, unpowerful being. That is illogical. That's why I said try and draw me a square triangle. Because that doesn't make sense. What's a square triangle? If I say to you, find me the corner of a circle, yeah? You just get confused. So it's a logical inconsistency. Are you happy with that? Did you get that? Yeah? Good. Thank you. Good. Good. So see, we've used one great argument to show that we have very good reasons that God exists, okay? Who's ready for one more? Good. Now before we move on, any questions relating to this topic? Yes, Mohammed.
There was an observation about these premises and the conclusion.
Yep.
One of the things that I've heard, I'd like to hear your response to it.
Sure.
That premise 1 applies to items or entities that are contained within the universe.
Okay.
Premise 2 applies to the whole universe, the container. So you can't conclude about the container from the container.
It's a category mistake. That's what they're saying, yeah? Good. Well, this is because we're saying a cause, the underlying assumption of the question is saying that the cause can causality